Hello and welcome to the Philippines. This is a bus trip my friend took going from up around Ayala Mall down to Colon Street, the downtown area, and then up to Talamban, kind of north side of Cebu City. Anyway, folks here want to be on camera. These buses usually have some sort of background thing going on, television or radio noise anyway. So that's something you're going to have to get used to here.
Oh, ada yung tanaw. Amazing Philippines. Amazing Philippines.
Nakaroon siya. Namin may ato.
Nakagani.
These streets used to be full of jeepneys, but during the present crisis, they've shut down all the jeepneys. They've been bringing in more buses. Of course, the logistics of getting all the buses here, getting people trained and registered, is taking time. They're slowly adding more buses, the beep buses, a number of different companies running buses around here, My Bus, and a lot of small little buses. I think in the next couple of weeks they're going to start letting jeepneys in to run routes in Cebu City itself. Right now, the ones from the province, from the country, outside of the city, they can come up to the southern edge of the city or the northern edge of the city, and then the people have to find a bus ride or whatever from there. I think they're going to allow like 1,700, something like that. The bus drivers need to go through, take some tests, make sure they understand the regulations, traffic regulations. I think they have to do drug tests and have their vehicles inspected. So that's taking longer, as generally the case, than was planned. Anyway, this is down Cologne Street area. Super Metro there is a bit of a mall. Across the street, I think you have the Colonnade.
Oh. Subscribe pod. Pwede ba na yung gamay? Kaya ako'y tungutanan. Kamay lang. So karon daghang pasahero.
Oo, dapat.
Ganyan po tag-ingaw.
So asar ganito yung kwan? Rota? Talamban Kulon, Talamban Kulon.
Oo, Kulon to Talamban.
So lots of noise on many of the buses in the Philippines. So if you want to read or relax, or like I download books to my phone, I like to listen to books. And back in January, I think I was up on the north end of Cebu Island, coming back from Bantayan Island, and got on a bus, a multimedia bus it was called, and oh boy, I was sorry. Loud video, loud movies playing the whole way back, and even with my earbuds in, it was really hard to concentrate on what I was trying to listen to myself. There are some buses that are quieter, some of the Cirrus buses, so if you're getting on a bus, you might want to check that out if that's important to you. Anyway, downtown area, and downtown area is really unique. Lots of different streets have different specialties. There are hardware stores, many hardware stores down there, some prioritizing the contractor trade, some smaller ones selling imported tools, number of different things. There are street vendors on the streets. You might find a street that just deals with bike parts, and they'll even build you a complete bike with all the parts they have. You might find a street that does mostly shoe repair. Another one might do jewelry repair and sell jewelry. Another one might be mostly shoes. So it's an interesting area. You can get lost down there. And when I first moved here 2015, I told people I want to go down to Cologne Street, and many people said, "Oh, sir, no, you don't want to do that. It's dangerous down there. You don't want to go down there." And so I put it off a couple of months, and I finally decided I don't care how dangerous it is. I'm going down there, and I've been down there quite a number of times since. It can get very crowded down there. You know, you can get into crowds, so you have to be careful of your valuables. One lady commented several years ago on my channel that she was down there. Somebody ripped a necklace off of her neck. Well, don't wear those kind of things. Watches and jewelry, and have your cash hidden away someplace. And anyway, I enjoy the Filipinos, the Philippine culture. There's a number of different types of malls down here. Some more wholesale type malls. Some carry a little higher quality. Some carry lower quality. You've got Carbone Market down there. I've done a number of videos about that as well. It's a huge public market. The vegetables, the fresh meat, the fresh vegetables that come in from the island and other islands. And there again, very rarely would I see another foreigner in there. I've had kids trying to follow me and stick their hands in my pocket, see if they could find some cash, so you need to be careful. I've had a couple people try to follow real close, one on either side of me, so you have to be aware of your situation, what's going on around you, and I make a turn, or I get away from that situation as quickly as I can. But it's an interesting area. The Carbone Market down, it's interesting. There's a large corporation who has proposed turning that into a big modern market, even with ferries going back and forth over to Mactan Island from there. And that'll be interesting to see. It'll be a couple of years before that comes to fruition. I think the co-op there is going to make a second. They had a certain number of days to propose. When one company comes in and makes a proposal, other companies have a very short time, like 10 days, to counter the proposal. And the co-op in that area has complained that they didn't have enough time to come up with a proposal, and so we'll see who actually does that. But they could make that into a much more of a tourist area if that's what they want. A lot of the locals don't want the tourist area. They're happy with the way it's at, way it is, the way it operates. Anyway, Cebu City. I think the city itself has about 1.5 million people. The metro area is around 3 million people. Consists of a number of different cities: Mandaue City, Lapu City on Mactan, down to Talisay City on the south, I think. Perhaps even a little bit further, perhaps even Minglanil, and then up north, a couple cities going north up to Liloan, I believe. And got your international airport, of course, over on Mactan Island. That's convenient. You have a number of piers that offer passenger service. Of course, at the present time, that's very, very limited, and there are restrictions and requirements to travel presently. LSIs, local stranded individuals. There are a number of new areas being built out in Cebu City area. You've got big developments, Mandani Bay, which is on the Mandaue City side, and many condominiums going up, as well as commercial buildings, banks, hotels. You've got a number of developments going up over on Mactan Island. I've done a video about that previously. Maybe we'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. At the end of this video, there will be little blocks in the last 20 seconds or so, and I will put links up there that you can click on to go to different videos. If for those of you who don't watch the whole video, you never see those. So if you're getting bored and you want to go to those videos, you can just go to the end of the video. But Cebu City, there's talk of putting a monorail in town. There is up above the streets, because there's very little room to expand roads here, and the city grew very rapidly. There wasn't apparently there wasn't a lot of planning involved. Nobody really thought it was going to grow that quickly. And there are a number of infrastructure projects going on. They have been, I think they've already laid through this area here. I think they have laid cables, like internet cables, the fiber optic cables, and telephone lines, power lines underneath the street, I believe. A year or so ago, this was dug up pretty well. And they're doing more and more of that, but it takes time. It takes time to get all that out. There's a third bridge that is scheduled, I think, about a year and a half, 2 years from now to open on the south end of Mactan Island over to the south end of Cebu. There's a fourth bridge planned up on the north side from Cebu over to the north end of Mactan Island. One interesting thing, there are almost no stop signs in the Cebu City, Mandaue City area. There are very few traffic lights in the area. Some of the major roads have a couple traffic lights, but it seems to work here. And I know a guy over in Talamban City, one of the cities over there. He said the guy by a bus depot over there. I know they put a new light out there, and he said, yeah, traffic backs up now. Before, people just, they gave way to other people, and it worked. I see very few accidents here, which is interesting. But after riding in the traffic for a month or two, I expect there'd be a lot of accidents, and I even started looking for damaged vehicles, damaged cars on the road, and very seldom do I see a vehicle with a dent in it. Really interesting. People give way. Well, you've got, like here, you've got 2 lanes basically, but traffic is parking on 1 lane, and the drivers will move over, and they will basically they'll turn 1 lane in one lane in either direction into 3 or 4 lanes, and like here they'll turn this into 5 or 6 lanes. They got the smaller cars generally, and the motorbikes will either go down the middle. Like even in California, USA, for those who don't know, it's legal. You have your lane lines, but motorcycles can travel down the lane line between cars, and I think on average about 1 motorcycle driver dies each day, and on those California roads, those types of things, it's difficult to keep track of all that in your mirrors. And here we're coming up to Cebu Business District, which is owned by Ayala, and they've got a lot of corporate buildings here, corporate banks. Quite a number of condominiums here, and for those of you who don't know, I've done a lot of reviews of condominiums here in Cebu City, especially. Few in other cities, Iloilo City, over in Talamban City on Bohol. I did a video about a development there, and they would be listed under my playlist for condominiums and homes. Anyway, big area here, a lot more spaces to grow out here, and there are other developments going up around town too. There's IT Park area in Lahug in Cebu City, a big commercial and residential area as well. Those are condominiums. Solinia condominiums right there, a number of, I think, 5 or 6 different towers. But IT Park has condominiums as well as a lot of commercial buildings. You've got Mactan Newtown over on Mactan Island, big development, condominiums, commercial buildings. They're going to have their own mall over there. You've got developments in outlying areas up in Loloan, Consolation, down south in South Road Properties, which is the big area down by the large SM Seaside Mall out there. So there's more and more developments down in that direction. number of condominiums already up and running, and I've done videos about just about all of those as they have started and expanded. I've got over 800 videos up. That just amazed me when I found that out the other day. 800 videos. Wow, in about 5 years here. Uh, Reviewing condominiums, hotels, resorts, traveling, things about ferry trips, different places, the experience, the journey, the costs of living, videos, uh, and it's life is a journey to me. Some people getting someplace is the destination is important. I've got a sister like that. Getting someplace and being able to relax in the sun and read, that is important. Uh, for me, the journey, going someplace, the whole journey and what happens along that journey is often much more interesting to me than the destination. When I get to the destination, it's just another starting of another journey, going out and searching and exploring. That's one reason. That's one reason this lockdown, and even as they start opening up the tourist areas, if there's going to be restrictions to travel, well, you need to sit in this area. You need to wear your mask. You can't go outside of this little bordered area. That just would be absolutely no fun at all. And they're talking about staycations now, where you go to a hotel and you just stay there. And if you can't get out and explore and experience the culture, I don't know. Anyway, a lot of construction still going on over here. This whole area is Cebu Business District. Uh, Primarily commercial buildings, BPOs, business processing outsourcing, corporate headquarters, the printer company Lexmark. They've got a big building in this area. It's much different, much smaller than anything that you would find in the Manila area. We've got 3 million people in the metro area here, and they've got 12 million in the city and 30 million in the metropolitan area if you stretch out that whole surrounding area, something like that. But there's no comparison. Here you don't go very far. Cebu City is a small, big city, in my opinion. Doesn't take too long to go almost anywhere here. And the traffic, I've met a couple taxi drivers from Manila, and they've said, "Oh, Cebu is so much fun. There's no traffic here." And well, there is traffic, just not nearly as bad as it is in Manila. And Manila's been adding overhead freeways and a number of different things that are opening up. But they got a long ways to go to deal with the traffic there. I could live in Manila. I could adapt to that lifestyle. And there again, you have so many different choices in areas that one would have to do some research and decide what area you'd want to live in. The bigger, better hospitals are there. You're never going to be bored unless you choose to be bored. If I was going to move to another city, I would choose Iloilo City. It's a relatively clean city. It's I don't know, half the size or third the size of Cebu City, I think, population-wise. Got quite a bit going on for it, and I think when I was over there year and a half, 2 years ago, they were ticketing like motorbike drivers with loud mufflers, and so they have some control. They actually enforce some of the regulations there. I enjoyed Iloilo. Bacolod City has a lot going for it. I was only there a couple of days, but kind of impressed with Bacolod City as well. Have not been to Danao, down on Mindanao. Been to Surigao City in northeast Mindanao. Interesting little city. I hear a lot of good things about CDO, Cagayan de Oro, on the north end of Mindanao Island. And then you got Baguio, way up north Luzon, which is the summer capital. It's about 5,000 feet. What is that? Close to 2,000 meters, something like that. And much cooler up there. So you're going to get fog and various things like that. More rain during their rainy season, I guess. There are many expats that live just outside of the big city here, the Tri-Cities, Cebu City, Mandaue City, and Lapu-Lapu City on Mactan Island. And there are many expats that live just south in Talisay, Karkar, or going north. Some of the cities just to the north, the province areas. And cost of living, you should be able to find rents, houses for rent, that type of thing, much less. You probably won't find too many high-rise condominiums once you get outside those bigger areas. You will find many new housing developments with detached houses as well as townhouses. You will find some apartment type places out there, and the cost should be substantially less. Now, during this present crisis where still very little travel is being allowed, tens of thousands of people have gone back to their provinces. Province, the term province here means country, so once you get out of the city, you're in the province, although technically everything is in a province. Cebu City is in Cebu province, but province usually means the city. Now that building up there coming up, that is Avenir. That's a business condominium. You can live there or you can have your business. They've got like Murphy beds, the beds that fold down, fold them up and turns into a desk or a sofa or something. And then just off to the left, you have the Waterfront Hotel and Casino. They've got one here and they've got one across from the airport over on Mactan Island. And pretty nice place. They've got lots of restaurants in there. We've got one that puts on buffets. So they've got a Chinese restaurant, a Japanese restaurant, I think an Italian restaurant. Not sure if they're all up there on the right, the under construction. That's the Grand Residences. And the building just there coming up, that is the Sentinel. The Sentinel right there on the right hand side. They've got a roof deck way up on top, big enough to land 2 helicopters on. And here's my truck. I wish. Got my name on it anyway. How about that? First time I've seen that. I'll have to check that out, see what I own, who's using my name. I want some commission, whatever. And interesting street just to the left here is IT Park, many blocks long, and you've got a place up here called Crossroads, which is really interesting. It has a number of restaurants, got a wine shop in it. I think it's right here. Yeah, right here. I think he's gonna hit a wire hanging down there. And there's just some of the businesses, kind of like a little strip mall back in there. Beaten in there, way in the back on the right, they've got Mayo, Mexican restaurant. Beaten there a couple times, pretty good. And every Mexican restaurant's a little different. Even the USA in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, every Mexican restaurant is different, and everybody has their preferences, tastes. Got a place here, Tinderbox, interesting little place. Got a kind of a nightclub upstairs. Forget the name of it, but off to the left, you see those buildings. So that is all part of the IT Park. Way back in the old days, used to be the airport there, I understand, the Cebu Airport, and now it's owned by Ayala. It is a commercial residential area. They've got a new, opened last Christmas, I think, a new Ayala Mall in there. Pretty interesting, not as big as the big Ayala Mall that many of you know about, but it's got quite a bit going on in there. Interesting place. DJI, they even have a DJI store in there for those interested in DJI drones. I have walked many of these streets many times, and I really miss being able to get out and walk. It's so healthy to get out there in the fresh air. But under the present situation in Cebu City, if you're over 65, under 15 now, you're not supposed to go outside of your residence. Very unhealthy to stay locked away in your residence. Fresh air is good. And another, I think that's another condominium or hotel. I think it's a condominium going up there. Not sure the name of it. Right on the edge of IT Park. Could be a hotel. You've got a few hotels up here, a few condominiums. You've got, as we go up here a little bit further off to the left, you've got Geisano Country Mall. Kind of interesting, smaller mall, but got a grocery store. And pretty much got a hardware area in there, furniture stores, clothing stores, electronic stores, but they don't have Best Buys, they don't have Fry's Electronics like we have in the USA. Miss the big electronic stores that you can walk in and find anything and everything. Here you'll find that you go into electronic stores, and oftentimes, unless it's a real common adapter, for instance, difficult to find, and you might even have trouble finding it online through Lazada. Lazada is kind of like an Amazon, but far from it. It's mostly private sellers that use the Lazada site as a as kind of as an ordering place. And there's Country Mall just off there to the left there. And as we go up a little bit further, you've got a university over to the right. I think you've got a hotel here. We go up over here, and you've got another mall just over this bridge to the right here. And forget the name of it, but they've got one or two pretty good burger places. You've got condominium over here to the left, and off to the left, that's Alicia. And I went in there, and my battery had run out of my video camera, I think over a year ago, and so I used my phone to take some pictures, but the pictures really weren't that good. I was going to do a video there. Larger rooms, just like the Sentinel back there I showed you. It's an older condominium, but the rooms are bigger, the spaces are bigger. But you can tell it's got some age to it, 10 years old, 12 years old, something like that. And the mall off to the right, they've got Robinson Supermarket in there. If you go down that road, take a right down there, that will take you to J Center Mall, where the immigration office is, the local main immigration office here in Mandaue City. And this will take us up to Talamban, which is kind of on the north side of Cebu City. And you'll find that there are a lot of housing developments as you get up into the foothills. We're going up into the foothills basically as you go this direction. And a number of foothills developments. You can buy lots, or if you're a foreigner, you can lease a lot, or unless you're a corporation, you can buy a lot, build a house. Number of smaller malls up this area, number of hospitals and schools and colleges spread throughout the city. Anyway, Cebu City is an interesting place, and I'm enjoying it here, even under the present circumstances. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, safe travels. See ya.